I have been a skinny kid and now I'm a slim man. And all of my life I have been mobbed, insulted, and sometimes even discriminated just because I'm slim. I'm 6 feet tall and I weigh about 150 pounds or 185 centimeters tall at around 70 kilos. From a biological perspective, this is actually a healthy weight for my size. But from society's view, I seem to look undernourished, weak, unmasculine, and even ridiculous. Nevertheless, being regarded as too slim, I was often rejected by others. In this video, I'd like to tell you about the advantages and the disadvantages of being a slim man. I tell you some anecdotes from my life and examples of what I have been through just because I'm a slim man. But first of all, we need to define slim. What is slim? What is a normal body weight? Let's take a look at the numbers. Over 30%, a third, of European citizens and over 35% of American citizens are obese, meaning their body fat has accumulated to such an extent that it can potentially have negative effects on health. And this statistics does not include all the people that have just a few kilos too much, This tells us we live in an overweight society. I'm pretty sure that many of these obese people are not even aware of their obesity, being surrounded by many other obese peoples. Their weight is just normal. No wonder they regard people like me as too slim, because they are not used to slim people. What is normal for society is not necessarily healthy. I live in a city where you can buy alcohol at every corner. It is normal to have wine or beer for dinner almost every day. Just a few hundred meters from my parents' place, there are acres of vineyards. Going to the Heurigen is something you would do with your kids at the weekend. A Heurigen is like a wine tavern. Kids would sit there eating schnitzel, watching the parents and other grown-ups get drunk as fuck. Eating disgusting things like brain with eggs or blood sausage. So, starting as a kid, you get used to alcohol and dishes like brain with eggs. So what people eat there is basically meat-based, fat and unhealthy food. Many folks at the Heurigen are obese. Doesn't mean you don't see any slim people at the Heurigen, but that's a minority. So in my home region, consuming alcohol like wine and beer and eating fat and meat on a regular basis is normal, but it's not healthy. Or to sum it up, being overweight is normal, and people with a body weight that fits to the way the human body is designed are regarded as too skinny. So just like an overweight girl is mocked because she's too fat, underweight boys are being mocked because they are too weak. On a biological level, more muscle mass does not necessarily mean more strength. Of course, there is a connection, but this is not necessarily a proportional connection. Many men use creatine. Creatine makes the muscles store water, up to 5 liters. So these men may look strong, but they are not. This is not protein in their muscles, it is just water. So let me ask you a question. Who of these two men is more musculous? Chuck Norris or Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? It is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson who is more musculous. But who would win if they would fight? Chuck Norris. See what I mean? So seriously, I myself did strength training in the gym for around 10 years. I had protein shakes and weight gainers, and I had them every day. That was the only time in my life where I actually gained weight. No fat, just muscles. But compared to the other guys in the gym, despite all my training and efforts, I remained relatively unjacked. I looked good, but not like someone who lifts weights for 4 or 5 or 6 hours a week. But I lifted almost the same weights as the jacked guys, even though my muscles were much smaller. Maybe Chuck Norris and I share an ancestor, who knows? However, in these years while I was well trained, no one would mock me, and I was more successful with women than ever. Unfortunately, all that strength training and hardcore scuba diving that I did ruined my back. I need to be very careful with my vertebral discs, so I stopped pumping in the gym and I discovered yoga. Yoga, especially Ashtanga and Hatha yoga, is also a possibility to enhance your muscle strength, but in a way that is not as brutal to your bones and muscles as lifting weights is. Yoga, however, made me slim again, but it also made me an inch taller as finally my spine started to be straight as it was supposed to be. And it made me more flexible. For the first time in my life, I could tie my shoes while standing with straight legs. Other people find this impressive. Not as much as huge muscles though, but still. So when it comes to body mass, I had 3 chapters in my life so far. Being a skinny kid and a slim teenager, then becoming jacked lifting weights in my 20s, and then becoming slim again, but well trained as a yogi. And I think this is my best chapter so far. All the muscles I had, they felt unauthentic. I wasn't really me. I was some protein-infused version of myself. Also, hitting the gym took a lot of time. Yoga I can do alone at home. After a total of 6 weeks of intense yoga retreats in Thailand, and the course in my hometown, and another retreat in Tyrolia, I'm ready to do my yoga at home alone. Of course, it is nice to go to yoga class, as yoga means union or gathering, but a yogi at home can be a yogi alone. Energy flows where the tension goes, and this works at home just as good as in yoga class. However, I'm a slim man again, but I am much more confident with it than back when I was a teenager. Unfortunately, not many women like slim men, but some do, or they don't mind. Not all women like jacked men either. Not all women like jacked men either. Some like fat guys. I mean, it's not necessary to match a certain standard when it comes to body weight or muscle mass, but it can help. And being outside the norm means you belong to a minority. And being a minority always sucks. Except when you belong to the minority of the super rich, this might not suck. And the minority of slim people is still large enough to find some guys to hang out with and to find a woman who can respect you despite your slimness. Not all girls want a cuddle beer, some just want a swimmer. I also learned how to pass most shit tests when others mock me because I'm slim. There is a big difference to pass such shit tests depending on whether a woman or a man is testing you. People who mock you because you are slim are either overweight men or overweight women or musculous men or normal weight women. So many different kinds of people. It is never underweight or unsporty men who mock you. They don't care how you look. They know you look better than them, so why would they mock you? Overweight women may mock you, not because they find you unattractive, but because they know you're just too skinny, and if you would lay in bed beside them, they wouldn't feel like a woman and you would probably not feel like a man. So the combination of an overweight woman and a slim man as a couple, it may work in some cases, but only in a few. So what they would do is they would encourage you to eat more food and become more attractive to them. Subconsciously, they think skinny men are weak and can't protect them. Also, if a man is slim, the woman beside him looks more fat. Overweight men would mock skinny men because deep inside they are jealous. They may enjoy eating a lot and being lazy, but if they had the choice of being too fat or being too skinny, they would pick too skinny. Because that's just the better option. Compared to being too fat, being too slim is cheaper. You need to spend less money on groceries or on other foods. It's less time consuming because it actually takes a lot of time to prepare a meal. And slim people would only eat 2, max 3 times a day, whereas fat people would eat for every hour for the whole day. Number 3, being too skinny is more healthy than being too fat. Body fat causes risk of heart attacks, strokes, diabetes, musculoskeletal disorder, and even some forms of cancer. So, fat men know being slim is the better option. But since they are fat and they can't change that, they are jealous. So what can they do? All they can do is they can make fun of you. So to distract them from their own fatness. Don't expect them to admire you for being fitter. For them, you just look sick. They feel you just not normal. They know if they would drop off some situation, like you would be lying there and they would drop off on you, you'll die. They know that. The other way around, it would hurt, but nothing serious would happen. That's a very basic principle of physics. Like you crash a small ball into a big ball, and the big ball wouldn't do anything, but the other way around, the small ball would just like go ping. So, musculous men and musculous women will mock you because you are weaker than them. They know they look more attractive and they know they can lift heavier weights and can ride the home trainer longer than you do, and if there was a fight, they would win. They would like get you into a hospital. They feel sovereign. They are the alphas. Therefore, you have to subordinate. In business, jacked men will have a big problem respecting a boss who is slim. They will not accept a weak man as a leader because their programming tells them that only the strong survive and only a true man can be a leader. This is instinct-driven based upon evolutionary psychology. On a rational level, you can convince them to respect you, but it will be hard work. Jacked men will respect slim men only if they have enough power, wealth, and status, or are particularly good at a certain sport. So, you know ski springers? They are not alphas. They are small and thin men. But still, they jump for hundreds of meters. These people will be respected because they are on TV, they earn money, they can win the Olympics or whatever it is they do. They are sportsmen, so they are respected beside being small and slim. Billiard players, I don't know. I don't know if any bodybuilder would ever respect a pool billiard player. Probably not. So basically, the more nerdy you are, the harder it will be to make friends with the gym bros. And now to the last category of women who would mock you as a slim man. Normal women. Normal weight women. So from my point of view, normal weight women are already a little bit too fat. But they see themselves as normal, as average, and this is their right because their body fat is average, but only in the social context of an obese society. So being a slim man, you get mocked by the majority of population. The only ones who do not mock you are the people who are as slim as you are, but even slim women would mock slim men when it comes to mating and dating. Because they want a man who can protect them, and they assume if a man is as slim as they are, he cannot protect them. They rather protect themselves or keep looking for a stronger male. That leaves only 2 groups of women for a slim man to be regarded as a suitable protector. the anorexics, and women who are much smaller than them. Smaller women look up to taller men, even when they're slim. Most of my girlfriends were at least one head smaller than me, and most of them were at least as slim as me. If they had more body fat than I do, they always were younger and much smaller. I had 2 relationships with women who were almost my size, and in both relationships I got mocked. Go to the gym, gain more muscles, they said. Eat more, they said. Cook for me, I said. I don't have time for that. Cook yourself, they said. It's your fault, they said. Blah, blah. And what they actually wanted was, they wanted me to change for them. And when I would not increase my body mass over a few months, they gave up on me and they left me arguing that they want a real man and not a beanpole. But why would they sleep with me in the first place when they thought that I was too skinny? Then I remember my gym times with all these shakes and weight gainers. I remember the smell and taste of these flavors: chocolate, strawberry, banana, cookie. At some point, I just got sick by simply looking at these drinks. But without them, it was impossible for me to gain and keep my muscle mass. Well, during the pandemic, I decided to quit the gym because it didn't make any sense anymore. I also got a dog, and the time I used to spend on lifting weights, I'm now spending to walk with my dog through the forest. And this is something I enjoy much more than lifting weights in a crowded and noisy gym. But becoming a yogi and a dog owner did not turn me into a monk. But it turned me into a more balanced man who accepts himself the way he is, and who decides that lifting weights and over-consuming foods and all kinds of gainers and protein shakes does not make me a better person. And even if society pays more respect to those who are jacked and have a certain weight, I don't give a shit. I like me the way I am, or like me not, and if you like me not, go away. I don't need people in my life who disrespect me because I'm a slim man. I respect those who offer me respect, and for me, this has absolutely nothing to do with a person's size or height or whatever. I decided to stay a slim man in an obese society, and I don't care. Maybe I will become fat one day. Who knows? I don't think I will, but it could happen. What do you think? Are you a slim man? Have you made any similar experiences? Drop me some comments below. If you like this episode, please subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support me, you can buy me a coffee. The link is down in the description. Thank you very much for listening. And as always, bon appétit.